All right, guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront podcast. I think it's episode 63. Lots to speak about. I always feel like we're going to run out of topics, but here we are. Before we get started, if you guys could like and subscribe to the channel or leave us a review on Spotify, it really helps grow the channel and get more guests. And if you want to book a call for any of your real estate needs, you can click the first link in the description below, and you will book a call with us on Zoom. Anyways, what's going on, Brooke? How you doing?
I am doing well.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired from summer, but
You're tired.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the
Too many events. Well,
yeah.
that I do. You're a homebody.
Yeah, I don't really go to events ever.
You just stay home.
No, yeah, I like to be home.
That's good.
I'm ready for the fall market.
Fall market. I like it.
Yeah.
You ready to work again?
Yeah.
Me too.
Uh-huh.
All right, guys. First topic here. So there's been a lot of controversy in the. Have you seen this stuff, Brooke, with the temporary foreign workers?
Let me go to it.
Anyways, Justin Trudeau's government radically transformed Canada's temporary foreign worker program. Young people and low-wage workers are paying the price. If you know a young person who's struggling to find a summer job, they're not alone. This has been the worst summer on record for youth employment outside of the pandemic. Many factors, from a weak economy to a population boom of young people, are at play with one of the largest of the federal government's 2022 decisions to deregulate the low-wage stream of temporary foreign worker program. On April 4th, 2022, a mere 13 days after the Liberals and NDP signed their supply confidence agreement, the federal government announced arguably the largest deregulation of the temporary foreign worker program in Canadian history. The program allows low-wage stream, which allows employers not in the agricultural industry, they are a separate stream, to bring in workers and pay them wages under the provincial median, currently at $28.39 in Ontario, was radically transformed. The government removed the rule that employers could only bring in workers in some low-wage occupations if the local unemployment rate was less than 6%, allowing firms in areas of high unemployment to access the program. So basically what's kind of happening in the controversy is that the temporary foreign worker program, they're bringing in people, right? Like Tim Hortons, like there's a new thing like don't go to Tim Hortons, because they're bringing in workers at a cheaper rate than someone in Canada would work that job for.
Interesting.
Because it'll bring down the wage, right?
Yeah.
Because if someone's not willing to do the job,
Right.
then they have to offer more money.
Right.
So, but you'll get someone from another country that says, "Oh, I'll happily take that wage."
Yeah.
So now you're seeing the unemployment rate in young people go up very high. And we always get comments on our podcast, actually. Like someone was just like, it took my daughter 6 months to get a job at a grocery store.
What?
Yeah, which is crazy. So you basically have a lot of people coming in, and companies are taking advantage of it because their margins are better. They're making more money.
It's a catch-22 because they're not paying these people below the minimum wage. Mm-hmm. They're just paying them below the median average. Okay. So let's say minimum wage, what is it, like $16 or something?
Yeah, 16 something in Ontario.
So say, you get paid $18 at Tim Hortons, but somebody is coming and saying, I'll work for $16.75 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
On one hand, I can see why there's a lot of people that are angry at that. And then the other hand, businesses are also really struggling because of the economy, because of the cost of, operating leases, borrowed funds. So as a business standpoint, like for example, I'm looking for another team admin right now, right? I already have an admin. This is just for like little extra help kind of thing, like design stuff. So it'd be like more of a, student kind of job just for, 10 to 15 hours a week. Anyways, I would, if somebody had the same kind of qualifications, that you don't really need much to do what I'm asking for this position, would I choose somebody that is willing to work for $1 less? And obviously their backgrounds come into play if I see more value. But if it's just a standard role, track this data, very objective.
Yeah.
As a business owner, do I choose the person that is willing to take less?
Yeah,
I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, so don't fight me over it. But as a business, businesses are struggling.
So I think the real issue is that people, it's like big corporations that are taking advantage of it. So like they're supposed to hire someone who is Canadian first before they go to the temporary foreign worker program. So they have to prove that like nobody wants the job. and there's a bunch of companies that have gotten fined. Like so many fines have gone out because they're basically just doing it to have cheaper labor. And if you think of like Tim Hortons, for example, like they're $1 billion corporation. So like they're doing it in a way where it's like, okay, we'd rather have the temporary foreign workers than a Canadian do it because we're going to make more money and we're going to save money. So I wouldn't, is there people and businesses struggling? Yeah, for sure. But it's different when like big corporations are taking advantage of the program.
But
That's the issue.
just to be devil's advocate here, only because for conversation's sake, why do the businesses owe anything to anybody? Like morally, okay, yes, hire a Canadian, pay them more. Great, morally.
Yeah.
But if you can get cheaper labor and it's all legal, so it's not like illegal cheap labor.
Yeah.
As a business decision.
But what they're doing is, in a sense, it's legal, right? They're not looking for someone in Canada. They're just saying, okay, no one's willing to do it. I'm going to go right to this temporary foreign worker. Even the UN did an article and said it's modern day slavery.
So, hey, I'm not in support of it. So I'm already seeing comments come flying at me. I just wanted to play devil's advocate.
No, fair.
Kind of seeing both sides. I think the policy in place is actually where to look at rather than the businesses that are taking, I guess, advantage of being able to make more money when probably over the past 5 years, their numbers are way down. A lot of them anyways. A lot of them are struggling. You see tons of businesses listed. You see tons of, vacant commercial spaces.
Yeah.
So if somebody's going to work for less and it's an objective job where, it's, start to finish, you're kind of doing something that kind of the average person can do without a huge educational skill set.
Yeah.
Most businesses, I would assume, would take that route.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think I think too, it kind of trickles down though, because then you have more unemployed people and then you have people who need a house. So it puts more pressure on the housing system and then the healthcare system. And then it puts more pressure on infrastructure, when in reality, these businesses should be looking harder or paying more for people to work there and not just dipping into the temporary foreign worker program because it's easy.
Okay, so let's talk about the evolution of AI then. With AI, it's going fast and furious right now. We are like in the brink of like our evolution as humans, I think. Like come the next 50 years with the increase of what AI is capable of doing and what people are working on, like we are in the middle of it.
These jobs are going to be gone anyway.
They're going to be gone. AI is taking it, but AI is typically, like with the increase of artificial intelligence and technology, it's supposed to improve productivity over time, right? And it typically works that way. And at first, yes, people lose their jobs if, something like AI can replace it. But, they're dipping into the foreign workers that are willing to take less. Then you think, okay, well, in 5 years, is AI going to take
is a job going to be gone?
Grocery stores, they're already doing self-checkout. There's barely anybody, when I go to Shoppers, it's like nobody's there if I don't feel like doing self-checkout.
Yeah. Yeah. Robots are probably going to come stock shelves and do things like that. So, yeah, we'll see where that all goes.
Like even 3D printing and
yeah.
Even so, somebody was telling me about, I forget who it was. I don't remember the name, but he was looking into buying an $800 million studio. Okay, this is a massive, I don't know, he's in media, famous person. I don't know who it is, but you'd know his name if I remembered it. And this is in LA, looking into it. And then he saw one video of what AI could do, of make this person do this or whatever. And it came to life, like video AI can do. And he canceled. He's like, I don't. Because I don't need to. We don't need to shoot movies anymore so much.
You can make AI do it.
You can make AI do it, and it's like
that's crazy.
Nothing like that won't replace the like human factor of it because you can kind of tell when
it's
AI.
Yeah.
So there will still be a need for that, and especially when you're your own brand, like we are, like we still need photo shoots and all of this. So like that industry will live, but think about the fact that this guy was like, I'm not even going to invest in this movie space because, where AI is going.
Yeah, no. No, it's true. AI is going to be a different world.
It's crazy.
It is. All right, you want to read the second one there?
Okay. Canadian housing starts surprise Surprise. In July with 16% jump. Interesting. Okay. Despite the fact that residential construction remains firmly under the thumb of high interest rates, the annual pace of Canadian housing starts shot up unexpectedly by 16% in June. CMHC said on Friday that there were 279,509 starts recorded in July, up from 241,000 units observed in June. June also saw a 9% loss year over year. Meanwhile, July's increase marks the highest year-over-year metric has been so far this year. The 14% increase recorded between January and February was previously the one to beat. Analysis at Desjardins called the number of multi-unit starts recorded in the month stronger than expected. However, many of the projects breaking ground last month were financed prior to the recent monetary tightening cycle, which has helped to keep housing starts aloft.
Yeah. So housing starts it was some good news that they're up, but yeah, like he said, it was kind of like when projects were started when financing was lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a trend we can expect, unfortunately, going forward. Because you just hear so many of these people just say, it doesn't pencil, the performer doesn't work, X, Y, Z. And also like people purchasing new builds, like new build sales are down ridiculous amounts. So I don't think it's going to be a trend going forward, but it's, it's good to see. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to keep up the demand or the ability to finance these projects is going to be viable.
Yeah, it's I know a ton of projects that are just stalled, and you wonder what's going on. Like you wonder what they do on a day-to-day basis. Probably there's probably tons of things
I know
that they need to go through, but it's like you just gotta wonder.
It's just the condos are just so unattractive to buy, even if you're an end user looking at pre-con, you're like, oh, like look at these prices, like look at this floor plan. Like it's hard to really wrap your head around it and want it. Yeah. Especially the crazy thing about pre-con too is like you never see the product. Like most people, like you're spending so much money, you're like, I want to go to the store and I want to see it, or like I want to go sit on the couch and that I'm going to spend $3,000. I'm a pre-con. You just kind of just look at this floor plan, look at the location.
Well, it used to be like more often the sales centers, right? When I bought my pre-construction condo that I still have, I was at the sales center and I saw the kitchen, I saw the bathroom, I saw like the living room, I saw like everything, I saw where it was going to go. Like I could visualize everything, right? I knew my exact view. I knew everything. And so that obviously helped me a little bit more. And then the one that I did buy without seeing a sales center, I remember walking in and being like, ugh, this is so like
shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. And I ended up selling it, and I had to do some renos after closing to make money off it. And there was a small profit, but I was like, there's no way that I don't want to keep it. Right. Whereas the other one I still love and I wanted.
That's the one in Burlington, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, it is. And I knew what I was getting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew the floor plan. You could kind of walk the floor plan. You knew the space.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer if you can actually like see the floor plan.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. I think people just feel like they got burned on pre-construction, so they're just taking a step back. Maybe it'll start back up again. It'd be great if you could buy something where it was like, there's a basement suite in it, like pre-con, like, what I mean? Like if they had those for sale in like, I don't know, Oakville or Burlington or something, where it's like
think about the price to build it, right? I was walking down Stewart Street, Stewart in Oakville.
In Oakville, yeah, off Kerr Street.
And this person tore down I think it was one big lot, and then he severed it. So he made two big detaches, but the lots are very skinny, like 33 and 33. And then, so I'm walking by it. So then I pull it up just to see, what's that listed at? It was at 2.7. I'm like, 2.7 on Stewart? I'm like, what? Like, it's a busy street just for the sake of...
There's a lot of apartments down there, too.
Yeah. So I'm like, 2.7. So then you think about it, okay, what did he buy this for? And then how much money did it take to actually build this? Well, that's probably around his break even.
Yeah.
Because you think about how many years it's taken since he's bought that lot, carrying costs, severing it, getting approvals, building permits.
Yeah.
Everything.
I know.
That's probably his break even.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm showing a house today and they bought it, I think, a year and a half ago for $1,350. Then they listed at $125, and then they're at $1.2, and now they're at $999 holding offers. It's in Burlington.
What's
in Mountainside? I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but
yeah.
1,350 they bought it for, and now they're trying to offload it a year and a half later.
Why? Like, do
I
you
know.
think?
It could be anything. It could be like divorce. Like, you just don't know, right? It doesn't always have to be like financial issues, but there's always some sort of story where, you look at this property that they're offloading and it's like, oh my God, like, it's so bad. You just bought at the peak and now you're selling at like a way rougher market.
Yeah. The thing that I tell clients too, though, is if somebody is like really struggling with needing to sell, if they laterally move their money, it's not a loss until you sell it all and cash out, right? If you're going to move the money, even if, let's say you bought for $1,350,000, it's at $999, whatever it ends up selling for, let's say 1.2, $150K loss, right? So if you find something that is also a really, really good deal where you can move your down payment, even though you've lost some on this, let's say in 5 years, does that 150 come back in a better purchase? That
Like
makes
a better
sense?
investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a loss until you've kind of taken your money
Oh
out
no,
of
it's a loss.
Yes, okay. Yes,
It's a
but
loss.
you can also mitigate huge burns like that. If you're going to sell in this market, unless your pockets are empty, laterally moving the money to something that's going to grow and kind of recoup as much as you can while still being affordable. Like, there's some things that I see that's like, holy crap, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe not at that $1 million mark, but
They're gonna lose a lot more than 150. But it's
like,
tough
put
out
it this way. Let's say in 5 years, if a Burlington detached, because they're already so high, is that same house is worth 1.5. Okay, so they bought for 1.35.
there.
Say in 5 years it's worth 1.5. They've made 150 now. Okay, but let's say they sell at 1.2, so now they've lost 150. But then they go buy a house in Hamilton. They get a duplex or something in the 600s, which is sparse, but you can get them, which used to be 1.2. So let's say in 5 years that house that you bought in the 600s is now worth 1.2. Now you've made your 150 back plus another 150 plus more. So it's like not a loss at that point.
I see what you're saying.
You see, you laterally move it.
Yeah, but
laterally move it. Don't take it off the table. That's what that's what you have to do. If you sell your house and you take a loss because you can't breathe anymore, okay, let's try to find something that will, like, right now, yes, it's a loss, 100%. You're losing money right now. But in 5 years, can we balance that out?
Yeah.
Because if you wait 5 years to buy, no, that's still, you've lost. Right?
Yeah. I think the moral of the story is just, if you buy something, hold on to it for at least 5 years. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
All right, next topic here. Career predicts 2025 will be a slam dunk for home sales, despite a slow July. After a somewhat promising June, data from Korea reveals housing market activity effectively stalled in July, despite the July 24th interest rate in June. The fledgling market saw slight increases in month-over-month sales, tighter year-over-year market conditions, and the national average home price increased for the first time in 11 months. But in July, progress halted and home sales ticked down almost 1% from June's 3.7% month-over-month increase. According to the report, decreases were minimal in larger centers, and drops in the GTA and Calgary area were largely offset by increase in sales in Edmonton and Hamilton and Burlington, our market here. Despite July, a senior economist is enthusiast about an optimistic market in the coming months. With another rate cut announced on July 24th, we've now seen 2 rate cuts in a row, and the expected pace of future policy easing has steepened considerably. With markets now anticipating rate cuts at every remaining Bank of Canada decision this year, he said in the report, combine that with a record amount of demand waiting on the wings and the forecast for a rekindling of Canadian housing market activity going in 2025 has just gone up from a layup to a slam dunk, he said. So he's basically saying, like, all these people who are going to be on the sidelines, who were supposed to be on the sidelines in the first rate cut that we had, but now all of a sudden it's going to be a slam dunk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think some rate cuts, and if rates keep coming down, like, I do think it will have a resurgence in the market. You'll have people being able to afford it.
Totally. As soon as they're back to kind of like a normal kind of rate market, even like, the baby boomers, right? If they're still carrying a $200K mortgage, or they refinanced a little bit to help their kids and they have a mortgage locked in at whatever, a lot of them are staying put because even carrying a low balance, if you're retired, say a 300K mortgage at 6%, it's still way more than you're used to. So I think it's keeping those people in their homes as well, even the downsizers, right? Because even, I mean, this only really pertains to if you're going to carry a mortgage, but even people that carry small mortgages. You know, I met with somebody that has a $250,000 mortgage on a house worth about 750, right? And so he's wanting to buy, he just wants to move areas, and even that 250,000 at 2.4 whatever to 6, it's a huge jump.
Yeah.
So I think it's keeping people in their houses, not necessarily just the first time buyers that we've seen on the sidelines for so long. I think there's also people that have been wanting to move that are just like, I'm not going to move right now. And they have equity in their house, and it's going to be a relative move, you know, buy and sell in the same market. So it doesn't necessarily matter what market you buy and sell in if you're doing both. And I think it's keeping people until they see kind of stability and maybe a normalized
Market.
feel about rates and where the economy is. I think they'll just, you know, stay put. And even qualifications, like, you know, I know retired people that are like, am I going to qualify to port this mortgage? Or, you know, I guess porting would stay under the previous qualifications. But I mean, if they wanted to increase a little bit or whatever it is, can I even qualify again? Right? Can I even qualify to sell and buy? Because on a retired person's income, what they receive, it's not.
Yeah, no, I think that like the slam dunk makes it seem like we're going back to the COVID highs, which is just not coming, right? Like rates are just not going to go that low. And when you looked at like payments at that time, like boy, were they low. Like what you could lock in for in a payment. Like you could get like a $600,000 mortgage, and you know, if you're splitting it with someone, it was cheaper than rent.
Totally.
So yeah, I'm not sure what a slam dunk, but I do think it'll be a bit more active, and you'll get a bit more people coming back to the market for sure. Even first time home buyers, like kind of looking at the rates now, like, okay, well, they're not great, but it's better than a 6.5 rate or something like that. So I think that
more people will come back out. It's been slow. It's been a slow summer, and it's also cyclical too, right?
Yeah, the economy isn't great either.
No, so it'll come back. No, nothing like COVID. I think that taught everybody a lesson. There's more fear.
Yeah. Less money. There's less money sloshing around in the system. Like people are tighter with their wallets, and not as many people are going on vacation and spending money, and that trickles through the economy. So I think a slam dunk is definitely a bit of a hopium, but I think it will be better than what we've seen because it's been slow this summer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people I talk to are on the same boat with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think things will pick up.
All right, there's one more topic there if you want to read it, and then we'll.
Okay, the only way forward. Regulatory hurdles must be removed on new housing. To significantly boost housing construction and bring down the cost of new homes, we must remove the regulatory hurdles that are contributing to the problem and substantially reduce the plethora of exorbitant taxes, fees, and levies. What are all these hard words you're giving to me today? I'm joking. That are unfairly imposed on new home buyers. It's the only way forward. The high cost of regulations, red tape, and myriad government charges have contributed to a dysfunctional housing market and made it increasingly difficult to build new homes people can afford. Alarmingly, a report from RBC, The Great Rebuild, 7 Ways to Fix Canada's Housing Shortage. Ooh, that must be a good article.
Yeah.
Indicated more than half of 1.9 million new households by 2030 will not be able to buy a home. New households by 2030 will not be able to buy a home? What does that mean?
Like indicated more than half, 1.9 million new households. I think it just means like by 2030, like if like you're renting, you won't be able to buy a home.
Got it. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to almost all the households in Atlantic Canada. Runaway bureaucracy, for one, is slowing residential development and adding to the price tag of new homes. There is a need for full-scale reform of the system at all 3 levels of government.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Yeah. I mean, it's just like we talk about this all the time. The red tape, like how long it takes to get stuff built, the permitting, like even trying to build like a laneway home or a second dwelling. Like if the numbers work and people are incentivized to do it, they're going to build more homes. But you start looking at these fees, like 30% of the cost of the home is fees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
the
just gets
profit
passed
margins
on.
just aren't there.
Yeah, and that
Like
gets passed on to the buyer.
if you were to buy a lot and build a house right now, you are better be living there.
Yeah,
Not
seriously.
selling it, because you're not selling for a profit. Like,
Yeah.
really, realistically. I'm sure some people can get away with it, and obviously depends on the cost of land where you're buying and how cheap you can get your house built based on your connections, I
Yeah,
guess.
100%.
But frig, man, yeah, the development fees.
The time it takes too, like time is money as
Did
well.
you
So
hear about those small, tiny homes that were, who was it? Why am I forgetting all the names today? I don't know. They bought a big piece of land in Ancaster and then serviced the land with utilities and then
okay,
started plopping tiny homes and selling them. And now the city of Hamilton is like basically like stop immediately.
really?
These people bought these tiny homes
Oh my
in
god,
Ancaster. Isn't that
that's
interesting?
hilarious. Yeah, I've seen some of those tiny homes. They kind of look
I
cool.
want to go to it really quickly because you really got to love the person you're living with if you're going to live there.
Why are they like 500 square feet? It's kind of like living in a condo, but you have some space.
Yeah, exactly. I guess so.
Yeah, condos are small.
Um, hmm.
Can't find it.
I'm going to have to look more into it. Tiny homes, Ancaster, Hamilton. Yeah.
Nothing came up.
I will find it because somebody told me a little bit about it, and yeah, that's an interesting topic to talk
Yeah,
about.
maybe we'll
Tiny
talk about that
homes shall
next week.
return to Ancaster with options for sustainable living. That's in the Hamilton Spectator. Yeah, why don't we talk about this next week? I'll get some more information.
Okay, sounds good.
So they've built all these like pre-done homes, or I guess the catalog kind of thing, and you kind of pick, and they put it on the land. So I guess you wouldn't necessarily
You're like land
own
leasing.
the land.
Yeah,
Utilities are serviced to it though, and you buy the tiny home, but the city
interesting.
of Hamilton was like, no. And then the other thing that I posted too is the Hamilton solution for homelessness. Did you see what I posted? Where there's all these tent camps and homeless people, but they wanted to build these, like, I guess, very basic versions of tiny homes. Did you see that post?
I think so. Yeah. They had something like that in Peterborough too, I think,
Yeah.
for the
Like a
homeless.
shelter for
Yeah,
the
shelter.
homeless
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
temporary solution
Yeah.
is what they're saying.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
I feel like people would rather live in a tiny home than a condo. Some people, I'm not saying everybody, but a tiny home, like
Yeah, if it
little.
was like in the country and it had some like they didn't want to be in the city, like yeah, it would be kind of
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit of garden and stuff.
totally. Like I remember one of my best friend's first houses on East 22nd Street in Hamilton. It was like house, 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 and then her house was so tiny. I remember it was like a 500 square foot home with no basement, like
Oh
a
my God.
crawl space, right? So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so tiny, right? It
Yeah.
was like 200,000. She bought it in like 2019 or something. And like she and her fiance lived happily there, and it was
Yeah.
just like this tiny house, right?
That's cute.
I feel like more people would want it like a little small house than a 400 square foot condo.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if it had a backyard and no condo fees. Yeah, I think people would love that.
Yeah, a little backyard.
Anyways, you got anything else?
No, let's
That's
look
it.
up the Hamilton tiny homes. I want to talk more about that
Yeah.
next week.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. We'll be back next week again, and we appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, leave a review, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you want to work with us come this fall, or you want to plan some of your real estate selling, buying, and even if you're an investor, you need help with some leasing, we can help you with that too. So book a call in the first link down the description, and we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.
Yeah.